I'm Isabel Square, not Squire, as much as Eminar wants to make that happen. Square, I cloned myself. Would you like to take it away, Eminar?
Were you muted?
What happened? Eminar, I guess. Who's muted?
Who's muted?
I thought you were saying something.
No, I was drinking my coffee. My wonderful.
Oh no,
coffee.
it's the stream lag. It's the stream lag. Okay, and I'm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm Bill's alive.
Did you give yourself a second name as well?
Well, I slipped. Okay, I slipped. Together we're almost on fire. Almost got our names right too. So.
Yes, posture checking. And remember to hydrate, says Ghost. Today on the schedule is going to be another segment of Am I the Asshole from Reddit. I believe these are some of the ones that I had picked out. But for the following segment, if anyone has any ones that they want to submit, please let us know. And we might include that in the following podcast / panel / discussion, whatever this is. Oh, if you write one, we will include it. Write one, Angel. Make it Reddit famous.
I want to see that.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So the first one is, am I the asshole for making my husband stay in the basement? My husband likes to go to strip clubs. Ooh, scandalous. Under normal circumstances, he would go between every couple of months to a few times a month. I've never really liked the idea of him looking at other women, but I understand he has a hard job and needs to get away and unwind sometimes. I don't complain or try to stop him going, and I know it's not the same as cheating, so it's not really usually an issue. The last year, my strip clubs have been closed because of COVID. It's been a stressful time for all of us, and lately my husband has been more and more irritated than usual. 2 nights ago was my son's 21st birthday. With everything being closed, we didn't have much of a celebration, but my husband said he and my son could use it for some father-son time. I had to work overtime at the hospital and left them to their own devices. When I came up through the garage coming home, I noticed the basement smelled like alcohol. We have a bar in the basement den, and normally my husband doesn't use it unless we have guests over. When I went to bed, I asked my husband, and he said him and my son just hung out downstairs playing games and having drinks to celebrate his birthday. Later, when I was out in the yard and my next door neighbors asked how the party was last night, I didn't know what to say. I think she could see that I looked visibly confused, and I awkwardly excused myself and went to confront my son instead. I asked him about the night before, and he said nothing happened, and eventually gave in and admitted my husband and some of his friends came over that night to have drinks with him for his birthday. He didn't want to talk to me anymore after that. What a douchebag son. I told my husband that my son had told me what happened that night before, and he ended up admitting that he and his friends had brought a stripper into the house for our son's birthday. He kept saying it wasn't a big deal and nothing happened. I didn't even do anything, whatever that's supposed to mean. He said this was something he and his son had wanted to do for a long time, and I was trying to take away his chance to bond with his son and be a man. I don't know what I was thinking. I just blew up with rage and said if that's what he wants to do in our basement, then he can stay in the basement from now on. I told him I didn't even want to look at him, and at that point he left. He said he was going to stay at a friend's until I came back to my senses. He hasn't come back, and my son hasn't spoken to me since. I know they're grown men. Doesn't act like it. And they can do this sort of thing if they want, but I feel kind of hurt. Like they were rubbing it in my face by doing it at home. I may have overacted, but part of me is still mad. Am I the asshole?
Interesting. Let's see. So Angel is saying, can he write it too? Yes, you may. About whatever you want. Well, awesome father and son time. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Post. Whoever picked this.
I think the theme that we're keeping to would be, am I the asshole moments. So if you can get that Reddit famous, we'll include that in the next panel.
That's right, Angel. If you can get a lot of upvotes on it, and it becomes like one of the top posts, we will be more than happy to include it in our podcast and give you your 15 minutes of fame with our 10 viewers or so, or less. I don't know.
So far.
Hey, then you can almost be on fire too. It's an almost on fire podcast.
Yes, that's
All we
true.
needed
That's
there.
true.
We're only like 15 minutes in, and yep.
So initial
Yeah,
thoughts, Isabel.
Initial thoughts. My thoughts are both the husband and the son need to grow up, but who knows?
But the son just grew up, and that's why they had a stripper over.
Yeah, but why do you have to put a stripper into your house?
That's a good question. They could have just
Also,
gone to the strip
COVID.
club. Yeah. Maybe
Well,
it is because of COVID.
Well, they couldn't have gone to the strip. They said that already. They couldn't go
That's
to the strip
right,
club
that's
because
right,
of COVID, but
Yeah,
I just feel
COVID.
it's weird.
I mean, like different.
Why
different...
go through the hoops of hiding it as well? Like, you know,
He was hiding it because
think
his wife was disapproving.
Right. So if it's sort of like, hey, you know your wife and your mom would be disapproving of it, and you purposely go out of your way to hide it, that means, like, you know this isn't something you should do, but you're going forward with it anyways. You know what I mean?
But like,
otherwise, there wouldn't be like, oh, why cover it up?
I'm just going to play devil's advocate here and say that, you know what? You know, it really depends on their dynamics, right? Like, generally, is this kind of thing allowed in the household or not? And from the sounds of it, the wife slash mom has been allowing the husband to go to strip clubs. She knows about it. It's a stress reliever. So if it's kind of an acceptable hobby slash stress relief type of activity, then, you know, why would she have a different standard for her son? I mean, bringing it to the house is a second thing, but that's just because of COVID, right?
Mm. But even then, you shouldn't be having so many people over anyways.
Well, it's
That's true.
multiple
That's true.
things. Like, it's very clearly, as what Isabel was saying, that they didn't tell her about it at all, and it was like a big secret. Like, that's the first big thing. As far as the stripper thing goes, it doesn't sound like she's super loving it, whether she's not complaining or not. But yeah, it's different when it's outside than when it's in your own house.
Yeah. Because it's sort of like out of sight, out of mind, but it's also like, if you're already disapproving of it, then every single time you go to the basement, you're going to be thinking of that now.
I mean, I don't think she's an asshole. I absolutely don't think she's an asshole. But I think that if she does not approve of that behavior, then she should not let her husband go to the strip clubs in the first place. Because this kind of sets the bar, right? It sets the bar for her husband to think that this is acceptable, and bringing a stripper for his son's 21st birthday, which is a very big deal, right? It's when you become an adult in the US. Maybe he thought it was worth kind of keeping from his wife.
But Bill, he's his own man. What do you mean that she should not let him? Surely he can do whatever he wants.
Not let him, but disapprove of it, right? But she doesn't. She just lets him do it, right? You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think I'm in the camp of like, you know, you can't help who you fall for. And if you be too restrictive about certain things, you're just putting an additional strain on your marriage, right? It's figuring out, you know, like maybe it's not an absolute deal breaker for her, but she doesn't like it, right? So where's the compromise? All right, if you go out and like go to strip clubs, I don't like it, but I will let it slide and like pick your battle sort of thing, right? But for him to actually know she doesn't like it and bring it back to the house and then go about, you know, lying,
rubbing her
essentially. Yeah, like rubbing her face into it, lying about it, that's a different issue. And for him to then like, you know, say, hey, I'm staying at my friend's place until you figure out your shit.
Yeah, even worse, he's bringing the son into it as well. Like,
I mean, the son seems to want it. The son seems to want it.
No, I mean the lies and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the son is in on the lie too, I would say, right?
But he's, you know, still a child. He's still her baby. Doesn't matter. Compared to like what, a 40-something-year-old, like, you know, who should have more brains in the operation? Who should have more thought?
I'm not saying she's in the wrong. I'm not saying she's an asshole. All I'm saying is that she set the bar low, in terms of like what's allowed and what's not allowed, and I think that led to this. But yes, I agree. She's not the asshole. Yeah.
Okay, I'll put this into context too. What if he's like a coke addict and he likes going to clubs, but that you're like a hard no on the coke thing? So you're like, take your battles.
Pepsi
Like,
only then?
yes,
No, it's different. It's like it's not that. The analogy is if he's a coke addict and he goes to a coke club and gets coke.
no,
and
I
then
mean
she's-
between the two issues, would you rather him be a coke addict or would you rather him go to a strip club?
strip club is better. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to,
That's
if you're
the
going to-
idea.
Is
going
it
to
Diet
say-
Coke? Not sure what we're talking about here.
if you're going to say something like that, it's like saying, okay, I'm going to let you go to a coke club and get high, but I will not let you come home and do coke at our home.
So
Right.
You're
I
really
think
bad with analogies, by the way.
what I'm saying is, yes, she set the bar low, but there might be other points of contention or compromise that they're already doing. So yes, you're not going to like every single thing that your spouse does, but are you going to be like, absolutely 100, you followed my word to the T or you're out, is unrealistic, right? So I think that might be where she's coming from, where she's like, hey, you know, I don't like it, but I understand based on these circumstances that we set
so
up.
she was either way. She was compromising on that part of the, you know, what her husband does that she doesn't like.
Yeah.
So maybe he thought he could push it further and bring the stripper to the house because of COVID, right? And what Angel is saying, what was that? How the F is she even asking herself, is she an asshole? Yeah, I agree.
Because he gaslit her. She was like, I'm not coming back to the house. I'm going to stay with my friend until you figure out your shit and calm down. So she's like, so her is like, oh, like, did I actually do something wrong? Like, that's a very strong emotional response. She's being gaslit.
I think this relationship is already a little bit dysfunctional when the husband goes to like strip club for stress relief, right? I think it's already a bit dysfunctional in the first place. She shouldn't have a son with that man in the very first. Okay, that's what Angel is saying. Yep, from my point of view,
what if it was an oops baby, Angel? Like, what if they got married because of the child? Just putting it out there.
That's not a reason to get married.
I know, it's a bad decision, but what if that's the case? Like, you know, they're trying to be responsible and then
they're
like...
still together.
Yeah.
Let's see what else he's saying. From my point of view, a marriage between man and woman shouldn't go to strip clubs. Don't you think so? If that boy wanted a stripper, he should have hired with his friends, not with his married father. I mean, the father...
Yeah, that sounds more like a father thing than it really was for the son, realistically speaking.
Maybe.
Weird.
Maybe.
Weird.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I wonder how much she's actually okay with it in the first place. No, she was not okay with it, but she was not... Like, she was not telling him to stop going. She didn't tell him to stop going. She just let it slide. And I think that's what I mean by her setting the bar for that kind of behavior.
So this isn't the same exactly, but I know that some people are... I know personally some people who are in a successful polyamorous relationship with multiple other people. This is not the same because we're talking about just people going out to see strippers and it's all basically eye candy kind of stuff and all that. But...
You could touch
people
strippers.
see... Yeah, I know. You can touch candy as well. It's still eye candy. Sometimes you're not allowed to touch them, apparently. I don't know. But anyway...
You know very well, don't you?
Oh, yeah. That one down by the office. So who down by the office, right? Every one of our nice, reputable firms have to have a strip club nearby, apparently. So... I kind of forgotten what I was going to say now because you distracted me.
I'm sorry.
No, damn it, I completely forgot. I had a decent point. Guys
strip
are jerks.
clubs, polyamory.
It's friends, yeah.
Not.
Yeah. Oh, so some people have a different kind of what is their real priorities in a relationship and like what really matters to them. Like, you know, some people just don't care about being touched physically in any shape or form. And other people have more like a much stronger emotional attachment to people or a less stronger emotional attachment. Angel, I will allow this comment, even though Eminar, looks like you can't pause to scroll. No, about strip clubs, Eminar. That's a lot of my name there. And That's what happens there too, I guess. You give them the money, they say M&R a lot. That's what I like. So, people have different priorities in these relationships. Maybe it's a little different here. It's not just put it down to a completely standardized, everyone fits the exact same box thing. I personally, I'm not into polyamory at all. Super monogamous I am, just me and myself. And that's
Your hand?
Overly monogamous, some might say.
overly so, yes. By the way, still
Um,
single out there looking.
But that's exactly what I mean, right? It's depends on where you set the boundaries in the relationship. And in this relationship, the boundary was set such that the husband is allowed to go to strip clubs. That's exactly what I mean.
I mean,
don't-
Tannen did put
she's
in
not-
a point where it's like, in my opinion, I wonder how much she's actually okay with it in the first place, and not just allowing it because she wants to feel accepted by him. And not to start up a fight, pick their battles.
Yeah. But I mean, like, even though she didn't like it, she still let it go. And that kind of set the bar, right?
But I think there is a huge difference between allowing you to go out and look at girls versus bringing it back home.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
very big difference.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, and it's not just this. Like, a lot of people wouldn't accept certain other things in their house. Like, I know of people who wouldn't accept alcohol in their house, but they're absolutely fine with their partners going out to the bar. Like, it's a very different thing whenever you're bringing it back home with the family.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess from my point of view, it's more about the activity than where it is done, I guess. But yeah, okay, I guess that's a good point. There's a difference. If some people find it unacceptable in their home, but okay to be outside of the home, then yeah, okay, I get it.
Oh my god. So Angel's comment, can someone say that with or what you would imagine a girl at a strip club's voice to be?
Seminar is good at like voice acting.
Yeah, who's saying what?
So Angel's last comment, but you have to say it in the voice of a strip club girl.
Oh, Angel's last comment?
Yeah.
Angel.
Get $1 inside my parts? That's a very weird thing to say.
Well, you have to say it in the stripper girl's voice.
Yeah.
Or
It's
stripper
dialogue.
man's voice, if you prefer.
This is just a trick. This is a trick to get a clip. I know it is.
He tricked me with that too.
I know. I can see that. Angel's got the button ready to go there. Clip M&R saying, M&R, get $1 inside my parts. Something like that.
There you go. Clip that. Clip that. You got it.
Oh,
All right.
no.
So yeah, I think we're all in agreement that she's not the asshole, even though, I think she might have played a role in this happening. Inadvertently.
Stop victim blaming.
I don't think Bill's wrong. It's not victim blaming. It's that if you do let things slide for too long, it happens with anything in relationships. Like, people become to accept that as the norm, and you gotta like set your boundaries properly. And clearly, the boundaries here were not set to a standard for her. But I know it seems to be a long relationship of at least 21 years.
Someone comment says, not the asshole. Your husband brought another woman into your house for the express purpose of taking her clothes off and grinding on him and your son without your okay or even telling you about it. There are very, very few women who wouldn't be extremely pissed off about this. The real question is, why on earth are you still married to someone who has zero respect for you?
Oh, thanks for agreeing with me, Tannen. I'm not sure which part you agree with, but yeah, maybe it's the part about setting the bar.
It was the part about I have a really good stripper voice.
Oh, maybe that too.
True. But yeah, I think that's the general consensus of that. Right. Next one. Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to get a different version of her gift to me? My girlfriend asked me what I wanted for my birthday, so I told her I wanted a game that was coming out soon. She said she would buy it for me, and when the time came, she showed me a receipt for it. I noticed she bought the disc version because it was $10 cheaper. I prefer to have digital game versions I prefer to have digital version of games because I find it easier and I have a lot of plans to get the next gen console. So I asked her if it was possible to change it to the digital copy. She got mad and called me ungrateful for asking her to get a digital copy when she had already bought the physical copy. I know she can afford the $10 difference, so it's not a valid reason for her reaction. Am I the asshole for asking her to get the digital copy because I would eventually be unable to play the game without buying it again?
I want to say, and I want to come in and say he's not the asshole, but if I were him, I would offer to pay the $10 difference.
I agree with Bill completely. As someone who has gone through this exact situation before, recently.
Oh no! Wait,
I know,
recently?
Right? Recently, my
Do
parents
tell!
got me Breath of the Wild on Switch. And I thought, wow, this is wonderful, amazing. Zelda, again, I can complete it once again. And it was a disc copy. And I have no discs here! Why would I have discs when I have digital everything?
And because you have the same laptop as me, I know you don't have a CD reader.
You have the same laptop as me. I got it first and told you about it, then you went and copied me.
Okay, I have the same laptop as you, so I know you don't have a CD reader.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's Breath of the Wild, so it's on Switch only. So it.
The Switch, right? Sorry, I was thinking.
Yes, actually, it also does not have a CD reader, so it'll be different for that. But yes, it is more expensive on the digital versions only, and I would agree with Bill. Pay the difference for the convenience of having it on digital for downloading it as many times as you want and updating it, all whatever.
So
I agree. It all sounds like she overreacted a little bit, unless he didn't
think she
fully put it together.
I'm gonna come from the ballpark being like, I don't think he's the asshole, but it might have been a rude request. And
yeah,
because
a little bit, but
it depends on the delivery. I don't think it's rude necessarily.
Well, it's sort of like, I think she's a terrible gift giver in the sense where she didn't figure it out.
Whoa! She clearly bought Minecraft Skyrim, the greatest 5 of the world. I tried to put a lot of games together and got lost. Anyway.
But it was sort of like, it's sort of not really be able to identify the need, right? And yes, it's crummy that your gift didn't like receive as well as you wanted to, but in the end, like that argument stands still. Like if he's going to upgrade anytime soon, he's not going to be able to play the version that she got him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all lies. All these consoles come out with a new, the ability to back thingy them all. Even when they said they can't back thingy them all, they ended up back thingying them to 5 consoles beforehand.
Or you can have the laid out version and just like not have to deal with it.
Indeed.
So
I mean, assuming that the consoles allow you to download it, which they don't anyway.
I feel like because we're all kind of gamers,
yeah,
we're kind of agreeing with the guy.
So yeah, like you got first world problems, and then you've got like this one all the way over here that is like, who thinks this is a problem? Only us. Only us.
Tannen is saying it would be one thing if he offered to pay the difference. Yes, like if he offered to pay the difference, which is $10, it would be more. It would be nicer, I guess. But really, if this game has been, if this game just came out and he's been really wanting to get it, I'm assuming it's like a pretty expensive game, and $10 is like a relatively small difference, right? But yes, it would be nice to offer to pay the difference to get the digital version of the game for sure. What I'm curious is why it says asshole.
So I think other people are coming from the camp being like, hey, she got you a gift, why are you being so choosy about it?
Because they don't clearly understand.
Yeah, like it's a different mindset, right? Because they're just looking at is, say, someone got you a really expensive appliance, right? Imagine that. Like it's, 1 out of 10. And you're like, I don't like that color, right? Like you're like, I don't like that color. Like it doesn't fit with my aesthetic. It doesn't work with my kitchen. Can't do with it. And then people are like, hey, they went out of your way to get you a gift that they knew you needed or wanted. It might not be specifically what you wanted, which kind of ties in with the whole, like, maybe you should have figured out if you aren't very familiar with the realm of what they're looking for exactly. But it's still a gift, and they're like, they put effort and time into getting it for you. Like, why are you being so ungrateful?
So if I ask some random friends for, like, say, sexy underwear for me to wear, and I need to boost my morale for myself in the evenings, then I should very much clearly state that it needs to be both pink and frilly and also black and leathery at the same time. Half and half at least.
You should send them a link.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Yeah,
and
because
make sure
maybe
the link
that
has
isn't
the options picked.
Yeah.
the size, the color, the material.
Of course. I don't want them guessing my size and then finding out, oh, Mark, you're an extra large, are you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it costs more, but yes.
So,
But like
socks, I have big feet.
Also the other thing with this is if you were the girlfriend and you gave the guy a disc and then like a few months later he upgrades his console, it's no longer compatible, then wouldn't you feel even worse because you're like,
what console is this?
I have no idea. But
what console is no longer compatible with the disc that you get?
I have no idea, but if that happens and the gift that you gave your boyfriend like just a few months ago is no longer usable, then that wouldn't you even feel even worse? Wouldn't you feel like, you know what, I should have just, bought the digital version?
It was just sort of like the act of getting you a gift when she really didn't have to, I guess. Because like all of this is really like, hey, I want to make you happy. And I know this will make you happy. So it's like the sentiment of that and him just being like, maybe there wasn't a proper thank you. It was sort of like, oh, well.
Okay, yeah.
Like, delivery, and it's also like, hey, whatever. But at the same time, if she gave you the receipt, why don't you go return it and get yourself the digital copy?
Oh, she gave him the receipt?
Yeah, she showed him the receipt. So that's why he knew it was like $10 difference. And I'm like, then go exchange it yourself. Like, thank the gift and be like, I'm going to exchange it. Well, don't tell her you're going to exchange it, but, do it on the side.
That's true. He could have done that. I guess I was thinking more about the fact that he was asking her to get him something else rather than asking her to do it instead of him. So I think it depends on the delivery. And,
I mean, like if he asked her, be like, hey, can you return this and do this yourself when he had the option to, I'd be probably like a little more pissed. I would understand that a little bit more. Also, Tannen says, I mean, if you already have a receipt and you're willing to pay the difference, why does she have to get involved in it? Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's fair,
says,
yes.
Are we winning yet? Soon. Almost, Ghost. Almost.
We're winning right now.
Yeah.
Aww.
And Tannen also adds, I want to know how grateful he was for seeing, because his attitude, what his attitude was towards it. I'm going to disregard your remark, Eminar. Your remark.
What about my remark? I'm just throwing it out there. If anyone wants to get Eminar a gift for his birthday
you're going to have to update your PO address so they can send you things.
Yeah, send me your size and stuff. Send me a link. I can pull together something. I'll coordinate with the rest of the mechanical or your team.
Wow.
Make sure it's
reputable firm talk is disallowed here.
Yes, your team to get the rest of your team to pull together something for your birthday.
Okay. I'll take it. I will hold you to that, Bill.
They'll get you a gift basket full of pink and black relief leather underwear.
I can see this going really badly for me.
Oh dear.
Yep. I'm gonna remind everyone in your stream, and you're gonna have to do a stream of finding me the perfect gift that I'm not allowed to attend. And I'll attend it to make sure you're getting me the perfect gift. I mean, unless you ban me from your channel, like, temporarily.
Ooh.
Typo? Where's the typo? I don't see it. How grateful he was, seeing what was his attitude towards it. Yeah. Okay, so I think this depends on the delivery. I think we agree that he should do it himself if he could.
But I think it's also like she doesn't know what the difference is, right? So like that can come into two camps. It can be like, why didn't she ask an expert?
So ignorant of real problems.
I mean, like you can't blame her for that. It's
right, but you could also ask his friends and be like, hey, I'm getting your buddy a gift. Is this what you think he would want? Just to double check.
I think she did a good job. That's not something that anyone would really think about unless they're specifically into all that. Like, I think she did a good job. Look, she asked the man what he wanted.
Yeah.
And he told her.
Yeah.
And she did a good job because, first of all, the first test is to ask him what he wants, because that's the real thing instead of getting something random.
True.
And then she got it, and it seemed like an expensive game. So, damn, she's she's winning already. Like, she didn't have to do that.
I agree.
I don't know how long they've been in this relationship, but I think she did a good job. I don't think he's the asshole. I just think this is a common problem that we need to get out there. That everyone needs to know that digital copies are much better than,
I agree.
hard copies of this crap.
It's also more sustainable because you don't have to go through like the manufacturing, the shipping, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So the reason why I said she
no
might not
argument there.
know is because someone has the argument of like, you're the asshole, you remind me of my ex. I pre-ordered a game for him, the special edition or whatever the hell it was. Well, I pre-ordered on Best Buy and not GameStop, which apparently made a big difference. He threw a fit and asked me to rebuy it at GameStop. Nah, babe, it was a gift. Physical copy you can lease resell when you're done or tired of it.
So again, this is a delivery thing, right?
Yeah.
Throwing a fit and saying nicely, "Hey, can you get me like a digital
Even,
copy instead?"
like, regardless of, just don't ask. Like, someone gave you a gift. If they gave you a receipt, just return it and like deal with it on your own.
What if you need the original credit card or something?
Put it on
Also
a gift
problem
card.
sometimes.
Put it on a gift
But you
card.
don't.
But it's
but you
also
don't
like you're
demand
basically
a gift card.
purchasing, right? You're exchanging essentially. Like you don't
No, but
need the
But
original.
if you buy a digital copy, you might not get it from a store. You might just get it online, and you can't use the credit from that store, right?
We're not talking about returning a digital copy. We're not crazy people.
Yeah, but it's a physical
No, that's what I
copy.
mean. Like
It's a physical
that's what-
copy.
yeah. So if you return the disc, right?
Yeah,
The credit that you have, you might not be able to use towards purchasing the gift,
you
the
can
game
purchase
online.
the digital copy through the store.
Same price?
Not always.
No, I mean
Exactly.
like
What stores sell digital copies of the stuff?
Yeah.
no. So like for example, you
Where
went
do you
to
buy
like
your games?
I buy them on Steam, so that's different. But I mean, like
There you
physically, if you're able to buy a physical copy of this like thing, so imagine Best Buy, right? You can probably like they have some hookup channel to buy it, like the online copy. I don't think they're physically just giving you the physical copy and not being able to like purchase
I think his problem is he wanted a GameStop. This idiot. I don't know why.
Well, this one is
Stop.
like
This one's different. This one
Something
we don't
else.
have enough context for, right? But the
But
idea
I
being
wouldn't-
like, hey, if you can buy a physical copy from, say, GameStop, I'm pretty sure they have like the digital copy available as well. So all you're doing is really an exchange plus the additional amount.
But like, are you saying that I can go to say Best Buy and say I want to buy Cyberpunk from Steam through you?
Well, but the thing is that he noted that the disc, like the reason why she got the disc copy was that it was $10 cheaper, meaning that at the store she would have been able to buy the digital copy had she not bought the disc copy.
Oh no, okay, like
Not-
$10
not
cheaper
really.
than Steam, right?
It could be
It's
$10
like-
cheaper online, or $10 more
Yeah.
expensive online, right?
But I think based on the context of what this specific post was saying, right? Not saying for anything else. It was more of she chose the disc copy because it was $10 cheaper at that place versus the
Most of
digital
these
copy.
Don't sell online though.
I don't know.
I don't know.
None of them sell this digital copies. Anyway, I think we're beating a dead horse here. I think
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
something
okay.
more interesting than
Okay,
turning
yes,
a gear.
yes.
Tannen wants
We're
to
just too
add.
passionate about games.
We're passionate about games and what formats they come in. All the good formats, except for disc, apparently.
Tannen wants to add, at the end of the day, what are the things I recognize about myself is that I tend to ask my wife for things that I could have done myself. Maybe it's just a guy thing.
That's true. That's true.
Most places offer gift receipts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gift receipts are different though. Yeah, I mean, like, because what if he never buys physical games? Yeah, right. He just buys things online. Then he would never have any use
I'm
for the
just
gift receipt.
saying, you could probably get a damn digital copy from GameStop. Who knows?
I
They
don't
can
think
hook
you
you up.
can.
They can hook you up.
Look, I'm not gonna Google GameStop. I don't care. They don't have
Yeah,
anything I
I
want.
don't
It makes no sense to me.
Come
from...
on, let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Sure.
The best present for me is not having to choose a present. That's what I like. But no one
Then
ever
you
does.
might get something that you don't want.
But
I
you
don't
already
care.
chose your pink and black thing.
To me, the gift itself is actually all I care about because I literally get myself anything I need. There's nothing that I want someone else to get me in general. So if they get me something, I'm just happy that someone got me something.
I like catering the gifts to the likes of that person. I wouldn't
like
want to
that
get
too.
them something frivolous. So yeah, I take notes.
Nice.
Tannen also adds, did she really buy that version because it was $10 cheaper, or is that what she thinks she did? Oh, maybe.
Who knows?
Next topic, guys. Next topic. Am I the asshole for not letting my boyfriend pay less on bills due to a new purchase because he wouldn't let me when I made less money than him? Okay.
Not letting my boyfriend pay less.
Yeah. So context is, my boyfriend of 2 years and I live together. We split expenses 50-50 when it comes to rent, groceries, utilities, and things for our house, etc. We both make the same money working full-time. We keep our finances just as such as our vehicles, doctor bills, cell phones, bills separate. My boyfriend recently made an irresponsible and unnecessary purchase. To keep it short, I won't go into details. Okay, fine, unnecessary information. But it was something he absolutely did not need. Just wanted, and it has made his disposable income significantly less. Ah, shit.
Sounds like a car.
Oh no, I'm sorry that you guys have both a house and vehicles each and all this other stuff. Oh no.
Oh no. First world problem, swear to God. This has been a sore subject between us. The other day, he asked me to sit down and talk. He told me since he paid more on his personal bills this month, he felt like we need to adjust how much we each paid on shared expenses. So basically, he felt like he should pay less. This made me mad for a few reasons. First, as I said, the purchase was absolutely not necessary by any means. And when we first moved in together, I made way less money than I do now. I worked part-time at another job and made $12 less dollars on the hour than him. However, when he refused to budge on letting me pay less bills, I budgeted and saved and always had everything paid despite that. So I told him no. I told him he was not willing to pay more than me when I made less money than he did, and the purchase was unnecessary and he knew it, which would make his finances difficult. If I couldn't pay our bills, he needed to leave. He of course thinks I'm an asshole for not budging on the issue. I think it's only fair. Am I the asshole here? It was a motorcycle.
Oh, I was close. I think he's a dick.
They've got so many vehicles, clearly.
I think the guy's an asshole. I know that's not the question, but I think the guy's an asshole.
I agree with Bill. That's not the question. But yes, he is an asshole.
Yeah. Pretty asshole behavior.
I mean, I just want to congratulate them on being able to split all their bills 50-50, apart from the odd motorcycle thrown in. Also, he's expecting her to pay for the motorcycle? Seriously? Unless she's gonna ride it, like...
I mean, it depends on their financial arrangements, I would say. But it sounds like their financial arrangements are completely
separate, though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it comes under the vehicles part of the separate stuff, but
yeah.
they are doing half and half for all the joint stuff, which is really, really good for them.
I mean, like, for me and Cherry, it's completely different. Like, if Cherry bought something and, you know, she made less money than me, then I would obviously pay for more of the things, like we're married and stuff, right? But yeah, clearly their financial arrangements are, like, completely separate. So I would say she's not the asshole. And, you know, I guess...
I think what you're slipping into there is Cherry makes irresponsible purchases.
No, she does
this is
not.
what you're inferring.
She does not. But I think the guy's a total asshole. The guy is a total asshole.
No, I agree. I mean, realistically speaking, it's his frivolous purchase. So she shouldn't have to pay for it, especially when he didn't... Ooh, Cherry's here.
Oh,
Cherry heard you.
Can you make the browser wider to make it easier to see?
Just zoom in there as well.
I'm going to...
You can also make it wider because the...
No, I can't, because the window goes out of the other screen thing. So I can post it.
Oh, this is two separate screens?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
What? I feel like it takes too much away when you scroll in too much.
No, but like...
But I think it's just sort of like expecting... Huh?
Is this the same screen or is it two separate screens? Because you can make it wider and still not cover the
like this?
The webcam. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, I think it's just the expectation of it, right? So even a wife scenario is sort of like, hey, I will help you cover the expenses. However, it's a different thing when someone's like, I expect you to pay for my motorcycle. Just saying.
I love this one. Your red flags. I took a peek at your post history. Your parents don't like him. He put you on speakerphone without your knowledge after doing something really upsetting in an attempt to lower his parents' opinion of you. And now this. You're only 20. Time to move on. Woman, they're 20 as well.
Oh God.
This person, I feel like they're just making up stuff and not actually posting seriously. Really. But if they've got multiple cars and a place themselves and they're only 20, like, what the frick?
I mean, you could with your parents' money. And you never know. The States is technically a lot cheaper than here. Okay,
so. They're both assholes. Done.
But it's also funny because someone actually went into the posting history of the OP.
Yeah, you don't do that with the posters. You just click their name on occasion to see what else they've been posting.
I know, but it's just funny.
Yeah, it's funny that they posted about it.
Yeah.
Also, that they got almost as many upvotes as the actual original poster.
True. That is true.
That's pretty common for like a responder to get more upvotes, I think.
Yeah,
because like they're the ones who are actually like helping the OP, I guess. Anyways, I think we're all in agreement here.
They're both rich assholes. Got
it.
Nani?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
okay, Derry, calm down.
Wait, what? It's just emojis.
Are you okay there?
No, he played a sound alert.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
we've got you muted so we can actually hear ourselves.
Exactly, that's fine.
Oh, that's right.
That is fine. But yeah, I mean, I guess pivoting from this would be like, if your significant other made less money than you, would you still expect them to pay 50-50 for the expenses?
Did you say depivoting?
Pivoting.
Oh. Sure.
It depends.
Hey, don't make fun of my accent. Hello.
I've already been there, and I paid 90% of the stuff, which was crap. So, my thoughts on it are very specific to my situation.
Okay, so going forward,
I think it really depends. Really depends.
What would you do?
Going forward, stop dating idiots who don't make money. Got it.
So, well. An engineer.
I'm too old to be dating students now. So
No. But okay, so as in, say you make like, pulling this out of my ass, like, I don't know, 80K a year, and they made 50K a year, right? Because engineer versus non-engineer.
Yep.
Would you still expect?
What if they're in accounting and they make 100K?
That's a very specific type of accounting, and that's not always the case. Just saying. So would you calculate that based on the basis of, you know, her potential earning versus your potential earning? Or would you actually be...
I mean, I wouldn't really go as far as do a calculation.
Or any particular
some people do, Billy. Yeah.
Like, I have no issue paying a little bit more if the other person makes like a bit less. I'm just saying I'm not dating an unemployed person again. Or a student. Great. That's just it. I'm not too old for that.
There's too much trauma here. We abort. Oh my god.
What about you, Isabel? What about you? Would you pay more if you're dating someone who earns less than you?
I wouldn't be dating him.
Okay. For those who were here last week,
wait a minute.
You cannot be vegan.
Hello?
You cannot be vegan.
Stop exposerino.
You gotta be rich.
You gotta be vegan. You gotta be rich.
You have to be able to like eating a lot of different foods.
You have to cook for her.
Yeah, there was something about looks as well. I believe something about a nose, but I'm not sure.
It would be appreciated if you had a nose. Just saying.
There we go. She won't get Voldemort or snakes.
The more noses, the better.
Wow.
No, I mean, realistically speaking, it's sort of like, hey, you're Hey, oh my god. Don't
they are
listen to them. Don't
requirements
listen
for
to them,
Isabel.
Edith.
Yes, they are requirements for
No, they're
Isabel.
not.
Feel free to make a list so that when she's famous, you know what that list is, and then you can go like
Wow.
No vegan, must have a nose.
Yeah.
many noses possible.
Must make more money than her.
I mean, typically, like, if you're putting that into perspective, a guy's more likely to make more money than I do anyways.
So you need to get to Isabel before she becomes an extremely successful streamer and makes more money than everyone.
That's not gonna happen.
Or
Don't
you
worry
can be
about
a very successful streamer as well, or something else that makes a lot of money.
But then she's gonna be like getting in with another streamer.
Maybe who's your favorite streamer, Isabel?
it. Don't worry about it. Rounding back on the previous element, though. I mean, realistically speaking, I think, like, certain people look at a potential partner based on what their potential earning is, right? So if you're saying like, hey, like, and I've had this conversation before where it's like, hey, if someone's has a part-time job, right, and they're earning minimum wage and they're happy doing that, would you be able to tolerate it? And the answer would be no, because it's sort of like, hey, there are certain things that I know I like in life, and a minimum wage paying job would not be able to sustain us together as a unit. So if you're saying like, hey, you know, he took a pay cut because of current situations and he's like, you know, he's looking for ways to pivot from that situation, then I'll be like, yeah, for the time being, I don't mind like paying more in that situation to help support us, provided that you do have a long-term plan that will keep sustaining us in the long term.
Just to clarify, you're not talking about getting a motorcycle, right?
I mean, if I get a motorcycle, I would stomach that myself. I wouldn't expect my partner to pay for that. Unless he is partially co-owning it, then that's a different story.
I mean, I think the other thing you have to think about is how much you yourself make and how much you both need to sustain yourselves, right? If I'm like filthy rich and I make a lot of money, then I don't really care if my partner does not make any money, right?
That's very specific example, Bill.
You might. Because then you come into the elements of like gold digging. Hello? What if they only want you for your money?
Well, don't tell them.
You better keep making money then, Bill.
Don't tell them you make a lot of money. Don't tell them you make a lot of money and see if you like, you know, you get along well, you know.
Imagine
like
how
that.
pissed you would be if you found that you had to 50-50 split and your partner was a millionaire. And like you've been like saving like very tight budget about things and like stressed out about money, and then you'd find out that they're actually a millionaire or a billionaire, because like millionaire means nothing right now.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that's why I don't mind paying more for the bills if my partners make significantly less than I do.
But you don't know that until months later, and they'll already be pissed off at you when they find out, Bill. Like,
are you speaking from personal experience? I feel like there's a bit of bitterness here.
You should probably know a little bit more about the financial details of someone before you move in and pay half the bills.
Fair. They might not be upfront about it.
I wouldn't be upfront about being a millionaire.
Yeah. Yes, Edith, they must have a nose. That is a requirement, please.
But not being upfront about it doesn't mean like you gotta tell them at some point.
I think you can be upfront about what you do, but not necessarily. You know, you wouldn't tell someone straight away that I'm a
CEO, but I make minimum wage.
I mean. There's just lies, and also CEO doesn't technically mean anything for a startup. So
CEO can mean like you make like a couple $100,000 a year. It could mean you make like a couple of million a year, right?
You might not make anything if you're in a startup.
Yeah,
you might make $1 like Mark Zuckerberg, but get a lot of shares.
I'm pretty sure he gets more than $1.
Yeah, I think that's very nominal. Anywho, but yeah, those items should be set up up front, but you know, might not always be very telling. Onwards. Am I the asshole for not letting my mother-in-law host an online memorial for my 26th? She's 26. Miscarriage. Yee.
This is a dark one.
There's something wrong with the mom. The OP's is an asshole for not bringing her mom to a hospital. Seek some professional help. No, that might be a bit too harsh. I'm just kidding. Don't take that seriously.
I mean, At 20, I don't know. It depends
Sorry,
on
let's
how
read this.
old the mother-in-law is, I
Maybe,
think.
maybe we should read it.
All right. I recently miscarried at 12 weeks. 12 years. 12 weeks. My
Thanks, Tannen.
pregnancy
Later.
was... Oh. All right,
Also,
see you later,
apology.
Tannen. Yeah, I thanked him. I thanked him earlier.
Oh.
Have a good one.
It just came up right now. Okay.
Oh, because I don't know. Anyways, the pregnancy was unplanned, but my husband and I were planning on keeping it as we were both financially secure enough to have a child. My husband was disappointed, but my mother-in-law was devastated. She has been inconsolable and she has called me multiple times crying. The issue is that I'm not upset about it at all. I didn't have enough time to get attached to the idea of being pregnant, as I only knew for sure about 3 weeks before the miscarriage. I see. I only knew about it 3 weeks before the miscarriage. I listened to her, whatever she needs. She doesn't understand why I'm not as upset as her. The last straw came in when my husband casually called up a Zoom call, and my mother-in-law is organizing for the baby's memorial. We're still in lockdown, so in person is out of the question, thank God. She wants to invite a lot of their large, close-knit family. Hubby assumed that she'd talk to me about it and phoned her to tell her she needed to take a step back. Oh my God, this grammar. She blew up at him and called me cold and unfeeling and asked what mother wouldn't mourn the loss of their child. In my eyes, I am not a mother. I don't have a child. I miscarried a blob of cells. To me, it's the equivalent of crying over my period every month. I understand not everyone feels like this. I want to be sympathetic, but a memorial is way beyond my comfort zone. I've refused to let it go, and she's been radio silent since. Husband is beyond stressed already from dealing with her, and I think her grieving needs to take a back seat for a while. Am I the asshole? TLDR, mother-in-law wants to hold a memorial service for a pregnancy I wasn't attached to. Let's read the edit later. First thoughts.
Oh, I already read it. It was only 3 lines.
I already read it.
Fine.
Although
fine.
It was literally the first thing I was going to bring up.
I don't think she's
reading the
gonna
edit.
Edit. Since people were asking about info, mother-in-law has fertility issues. Husband is her only child, and she's dealt with a lot and late-term miscarriages.
That was going to be the first thing I'd bring up. Like, it sounds very much like the mother-in-law has some experience with this particular situation, and it's more to do with her than it is to do with the would-be mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think she's an asshole. I think the mom is overreacting. I know she's had a lot of miscarriages, but this is the first trimester, right? And
Still
from
trauma
what
though.
I've heard, no, but from what I've heard, like first trimester, it's very common to have miscarriages. It's so.
But it hit different people harder, especially if they're trying really hard and a lot. But it sounds more like it's hitting the mother-in-law much harder than the actual.
Well, because she also had early and late miscarriages, right? So it's probably beyond the first trimester. And if that constantly keeps happening, then that's going to be like a prolonged trauma in her psyche.
Yeah, so maybe her mother-in-law had reason to be more deeply affected by it than she did, but it is still her miscarriage.
Yeah.
Her baby.
True. I think
she has every right to feel the way she feels.
Right.
Whatever way that is.
But maybe not a memorial.
And she has the right to say no memorial, yeah.
No, if the mother wanted it, I think that would be fine. I'd still think it might be a little weird depending. But because it's the mother-in-law pushing it, that's kind of too far.
But yeah, I mean, like, if she's fine with it, then it's fine. But she's not. So like, yeah, I mean, like, it's just like you're kind of spreading the news. Hey, she got a miscarriage or whatever, right? Even though it's first trimester, it's no big deal, generally speaking. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of repressed drama that she needs to figure out, and not so much put it on the daughter-in-law and the husband. I think she's valid in how she feels about being upset and being inconsolable about it. But I don't think she should necessarily be calling her daughter-in-law to cry over it either. Or maybe she doesn't recognize that it's based on past trauma. You know what I mean? Like, projection.
Yeah, damn it, I was trying to say that 3 times. Okay.
My bad.
No, it's okay. You get the XP, kill stealer.
Do I level up? Do I level up from KSing?
Of course you do.
I think we're in agreement here. She's not the asshole. Yeah.
Sad times though for all.
Yeah, it just sucks.
I mean,
Not much
like
we can do.
it's first trimester. It's not uncommon for miscarriages.
I think
I mean, like,
so. Particularly with her, she I think doesn't have that attachment to it. But like,
yeah.
I've read about a lot of like mothers or expecting mothers that feel like, both from a cultural sense maybe, but also from like a personal sense, where they feel like they failed because they couldn't bring the baby to full term, and that's just like a guilt that kind of like lives with you.
Yeah.
But
It's not
it's
logical,
more,
but it's
Yeah,
more
it's
the
not.
mother than the grandmother-in-law.
Well, because like
Or
she's been living
grandmother,
with that
sorry.
guilt throughout her life, right? So it's kind of like an infliction that's never been cured or properly handled. And throughout the years, now that she's seeing it happen again, it's sort of like, hey, trauma, like backflash to when I failed as a potential mother, you know?
or it
Yeah.
could be less on feel and more on just fear as well.
True.
That like what's happening to me is going to happen to her, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if the mom, like, I mean, like the OP is fine with it and not really attached, then yeah, it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, in
So
general, it's
there's
definitely a more emotional response than it is a logical
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
there's also the argument of life begins at conception, of which the mother-in-law may actually may believe, in which case they're like,
Yeah.
well, it was a person that died, so we should have
No,
a
it's
memorial. So
actually-
it's understandable if that is the point of view of it. No, we're
Yeah.
not here to argue when life begins, but that people will. I believe life begins when you're 6 and you manage to stab your first leprechaun in the knee. That's when I think life begins.
Now when you fell
actually
off your
talking to
first
Cherry
bite.
about that. I was actually talking to Cherry about that the other day. I was like saying, you know what, I'm having a vegetarian meal now because I'm only having eggs with rice. But technically, this is the fetus of a chicken.
Well, it's not though.
Kind of. Well, it's similar, right? It's
Embryo technically, I think, but it's not
well,
a fetus, 'cause
you know what I mean.
it's never been joined with another chicken. This is just a.
It's you know what I mean. It's like we say it's okay for vegetarians to eat eggs, but really, isn't it an animal in the making? Kind of like an unborn child. It's like saying eating a fetus is not cannibalism, right?
No one says that ever.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
No one has ever said that, though.
I know, but I'm just saying. It's like if you say that eating an egg is not the same as eating an animal. It's like saying the egg is not an animal because it's not a chicken.
Timothy,
So
you right.
the egg was never going to be alive because it was never fertilized.
You don't
That's
have
the difference.
drink.
What if the egg was fertilized
water
and just didn't have
Oh,
a chance
because
to
I don't want to
develop?
get drowned.
It wasn't.
That
That's
happens.
they farmed them
Hail
specifically so they
Hydra!
don't. That doesn't happen.
I'm not an egg person. I don't know about how eggs are fertilized and
Very
stuff.
clearly, you do not know how eggs are.
Hail hydrate. Hail hydrate.
Yes,
Straight.
heal Hydra. What?
Hail Hydra.
Hail
What?
hydrate.
Yes.
Brainwashed. Oof.
All right.
You know what?
Anyways,
For that,
sidetrack,
I'm gonna.
sidetrack.
Enough with this Bill eating fetuses thing.
That's what needs to happen. Oh, actually, I
What?
can do this. There was a sound emote that I played.
Oh right, not Bill eating fetuses. Got it.
Yeah, but I can also do that command, so that's fine.
Oh, I can't hear the bunking stick. Sad. Oh yeah, there's the Bill face pal emojis.
Yep, it's coming out already. By the
What?
way, Jimothy says yikes, and Ghost says drink more water.
Agree with Jimothy. One last
I'm gonna
one.
get bonked. I
Alright,
hear it. I'm gonna
last
get
one.
bonked.
Do we want an asshole one or a non-asshole one?
I don't know.
Up to you.
What are the options? Let's ask the
Right.
Let's ask the viewers.
Everyone, let's pull in. Let's poll in. Am I the asshole for withdrawing my clothes donation to a charity shop after the manager was rude to me? 1. 2. Am I the asshole for speaking my mom about her childhood and made her realize that I wasn't a nice one? Oh shit. 3. Am I the asshole for not inviting my friends to something because she always brings her husband? 4. What is this? What Wibta? What's Wibta? Would I be the asshole if I didn't pay for my daughter's college funds?
Oh, okay. Get your
Should
vote
we roll a
in now.
d4 or does
No,
the audience
we're
have
gonna
a
vote.
preference?
We're gonna put on some voting music.
Drum roll. I'm getting bonked.
Oh, nice bonking in the background.
Excellent. What do y'all pick? What do you think is most appropriate?
I don't even remember anything you said.
Roll a d4. I say roll a d4.
There's 5 of them.
Cherry doing her job is what Jessica.
I see 4.
says.
I know. I think one's hidden. I thought there was 5.
All right.
I quite like the one that said asshole at the end, where it's like, would I not be the asshole for paying
Should
for
I
my
do a
daughter something,
D4?
something.
And then I can show off my
but
dice
if we get
again.
the D4, we're gonna get the bad one.
Are you sure? But look at this. Look how pretty it is.
Can't see it. I'm not looking at your stream. Your Discord one is lower quality on my side.
Wow.
It is very low quality on my
Sad
side.
times, man.
Looks fine on the stream, but it's terrible quality here.
Yeah, same here. I don't know why.
It's pretty AF.
Because she's uploading her whole stream at the same time.
Probably.
Oh, right.
All right. If people aren't choosing, I'm gonna roll.
Roll it.
So it says 2.
Okay, sure. I'll have to
The
count
one
you.
I wanted. Perfect.
All right. So this one is am I the asshole for? Oh, actually, let me show you the other dice because it's actually like so pretty. I got a 2.
But
so this is my other dice, which is like the
balanced
D20.
in the rolling?
Yes. This one isn't. Because this is more aesthetic.
No bringing that to my table, Isabel.
Fine. You know what? I'll choose the other
That's the
one
problem.
then. Okay.
Well, what if the roll is like it leans towards like a 1? Would you allow it?
No, I wouldn't allow it either. I basically any gemstone dice you get are not balanced.
Yeah, that one's definitely not balanced. Whereas this
So,
one's like a little more like.
I don't generally allow gemstone dice because they are trash. They look pretty, but they do not roll.
It's still a 2.
Right.
Whatever.
Wow, this guy is so unappreciative. Am I the
Your
asshole for speaking to my mom about her childhood and made her realize that it wasn't a nice one? I,
Ouch.
female 24,
Wow.
was talking with my mom about the things that bother us, etc. Because I started to do therapy recently.
Oh, students.
One thing led to another, and we talked about my mom's being a people pleaser. And she said stop putting other people's needs before her. As she continued to talk, my mom began to talk about her childhood and some memories of the period period of time which was fine until I basically called the behavior of adults as abusive. She coming from a big family and has 10 siblings. This grammar, I swear to God, you're 24-year-old like learning therapy. Figure out your English. She was ignored by her parents and was spending most of her time with one of her neighbors, an 8-year-old woman. She was taking care of her despite the fact that she was 10 at the time. In exchange, the old lady's daughters brought things for my mom and took her with them for holidays. When she was 12, she started to work with a woman who married but no kids whatsoever. She took my mom under her wing. After a while, she became a mom to my mom. But she was sharing her problems with a 12-year-old. And when she said that, I said to my mom it was emotional labor, and she, as the adult, shouldn't have done that to you, a child. Which was my fuck up, because mom thought of these as happy memories and not sad ones. She realized that all her memories from her childhood were in fact that kind of example. She started crying. She said, I didn't need to know about that my childhood was shit, and I was never loved. Now she's talking to me and said I need time alone, and went to bed, refusing to talk. On top of that, my sisters are blaming me for this. TLDR, mom upset with me for saying her considered happy memories weren't that happy, and now I ruined her happy memories. Asshole or not asshole? What do you guys think?
Not asshole. It is always important to know the truth.
I mean, like, I don't think she's an asshole, but at the same time, I don't think that, you know, maybe what is considered emotional abuse or like whatever these days is not the same as it was back then. I mean, when I was growing up, I got corporal punishment when I was being naughty, right? And at the time it was okay, And even now, I don't think of that as abuse. I was fine getting whipped when I did something wrong,
What?
but these days,
With what?
with a belt,
Out.
something that we call a walis ting ting, which is like almost like a very thin piece of
Was it a feather
wood,
duster?
I guess. Sorry, or a
Was
feather
it
duster, or
bamboo stick?
slippers. Sorry,
Slippers, yes. Good times.
Coat
Remember
hangers.
those. Wait, you got hit by with coat hangers?
Yeah,
the worst
Really?
were
Like
belts.
the wooden ones, or the belts were way the
the
worst.
plastic ones, I think.
They're like you get the actual whip kind of sound when it gets swung at you.
Breaks the
and-
side barrier.
And like you get like like the red stuff on your arms and legs.
I
for a
did,
few
Ghost.
days.
I did.
Yeah.
There was a posture
But
check, and
I
I
don't think of that
drank.
as abuse. So all
Well,
I'm
I
saying
drank
is
wine here.
what,
I'll drink water
what the
too.
OP thinks of as a bad childhood might just be the norm and might be okay during that era, right?
I'm gonna say she was the asshole because technically her mom's trauma and past are not really for her to uncover or feel like justice to uncover, you know? I think therapy is very personal. Like if she wanted to uncover that, she would have done it so herself. But now you're making your mom have to, or anyone even, like it didn't have to be her mom. It's sort of like you're forcing them to face what they had perceived to be like a happy instance in their childhood, and to kind of come to really the reality that, as she said, that she was not loved.
If that was her intent, then she is the asshole, but it sounds like it just kind of slipped.
I think that should be something
Yeah.
like, like you're studying it by profession. You should understand that her
Wait, is she?
trauma. Yeah, because she
Yeah.
said she's studying therapy. So,
Oh.
going into it, I don't think you should be a therapist because you don't even know how to deal with it within family.
Right. First of all, I think that's unfair because all students are stupid. Anyone out there who's a student, not you, but everyone else, yes. Students always, like, I remember, like, my brother and sisters all come, like, they were all doing, like, medical and stuff, and when they came home at the weekends and stuff, it was all like, oh, I know all this stuff, and I will totally diagnose you, and everything. Like, yeah, but I don't trust you because you're a student. So whatever you said about these weird things in my eyes, I'm pretty sure they're just eyelashes. So you can stay away from my eyes. But, like, students think because they there's an actual condition in it. And my brother has told me about this. Now that he's not a student, I trust him a lot more. But he's told me there's a condition where you pretty much, like, something you've read up on recently, you think that is affecting on everything in the medical practice. There's a whole name for it. I don't know what it is. But
Something
if you
It's something
Think-
something chondriac.
Mitochondriac. That's the one.
No.
no.
I'm a medical student, believe me.
Like someone's got like a walking plague syndrome or something like that. You believe then everything is associated with walking plague syndrome because you've been reading up and studying that recently, and everything will just, you'll see that. So
Sounds like
it's
an
the
episode of House.
yeah, pretty much. Everything's lupus until something actually is lupus, and they're all surprised. What, you mean it's actually lupus this time? Wow. Good episode though. But yeah, so same thing for therapy. Like you could talk everything about it.
Oh,
but you're not gonna know how to do it
hypochondriac.
right.
And people
No,
make
it's not.
mistakes.
It's not hypochondriac. There's an actual medical term for it. Hypochondriac is when you're kind of over analyzing everything about yourself. But this is when a doctor, a medical student, would over analyze everyone. Something that they've very recently been studying. It's something a little bit different.
Even people who are not students still make mistakes, and just because she might not be a good therapist because she didn't realize she shouldn't have said that doesn't mean she was an asshole for making that mistake.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She's only a student.
Yeah.
She can't be a good or bad therapist when she's still studying it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that regardless
Ethics
of whether or
is
not she's
usually
a
like
student,
top thing that you study though.
it doesn't make her an asshole for making a mistake, right? She did say that she thinks she made a mistake there. I think she mentioned that in her post.
I see.
Like, yeah, Bill's right. You're gonna make mistakes. The whole thing is learning from those and moving on, and that is with everything in life. Like, it doesn't mean you're bad at something because you made a mistake. You're only bad at it if you don't learn from that.
True.
And also, you might just be legitimately bad at it. But I don't think this is a good enough reason to say that to her.
So, okay, that branches into another spectrum. Do you fault someone for maliciously... Would you sooner forgive someone for maliciously hurting you? Like intentionally being like, hey, I want to cause you physical harm? Or would you more likely forgive someone who accidentally hurt you? And
No,
not...
obviously the second one. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, like what's...
I can forgive someone for, yeah, I don't know. Like I can't think of
Accidental's a
an
lot
example right
easier.
now. Yeah, for sure.
I think I'm in the camp of being more forgiving to the person that would... Or more forgiving of the situation for the person that purposely hurt me versus someone that accidentally hurt me.
Why?
And here,
Why?
I'll explain. Because maliciously being like, hey, it is my intention to hurt you, then it's sort of like, you're an asshole. Like, you tried to hurt me. I understand that. Whereas as someone who unintentionally hurt me, that was not their intent, but it still hurt me at the end of the day. So do I blame them for being an idiot, or do I blame me for believing the idiot?
I'm not sure what you're trying to get at here.
So it's sort of like, you know, someone might have good intentions, but they still hurt you, right? And you're more likely to keep them in your life versus someone that had maliciously tried to hurt you. So technically, the wound is going to fester and take longer for the person that unintentionally hurt you than the one that maliciously hurt you.
No,
Okay,
it's not that. Yeah.
Another thing for
Yep.
everyone, you gotta maliciously hurt Isabel, not accidentally hurt her.
Or if you accidentally hurt her,
You're right.
say that you did it intentionally.
Yes.
I think that's kind of
I think Isabel, maybe you should analyze this a little deeper. I'm no therapist.
Don't
wish I
worry,
told
I've
you
got a
that.
therapy for
I
it.
think you have mitochondria.
What's the content? What's the alcohol content of that wine you're drinking? Must be pretty
Too
strong.
high, too high.
What did you put in it? You put in like you put ice in it. That's what it was to
Yeah, and that was to
hold
dilute
down the
it.
sugar.
I
must
don't
be
understand
really bad.
how you would forgive someone more easily if they hurt you intentionally.
Because it's sort of like shame on you for hurting me. And if I continue to believe that, then it's like shame on me, sort of thing. Whereas,
I actually understand where you're coming from, but I disagree. I just disagree with running it that way in your head. But that's not good for you. It's from what I can
Probably
feel.
not, but still, like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's sort of like...
So if someone kind of
I think it's more of like in a way, I would fault carelessness on the second portion more so, right?
The thing
because
is
if you didn't put enough attention and sort of still hurt me, then it's still sort of like, hey, is the onus really on me or is it on you?
Okay, so like if, for example, you're an example, you're with a group of friends, right? And then you told a friend something about one of your other friends that you didn't like, and then that friend kind of intentionally told that other person, hey, you know, Isabel said this about you. Would you forgive her, or would you forgive her more if she kind of just accidentally let it slip?
I think, okay, so here's the thing. Small instances and how big the wound is a contributing factor, right? So if someone deliberately stabbed me versus someone unintentionally stabbed me, the wound is still there, and like it's still deep.
I want to hear Bill's one. I want to hear what it's like with a small thing, not the big thing.
See, I think with this, okay, so with Bill's scenario of like, okay, let me see if I understand this correctly. If I told someone something and they said, hey, don't tell anyone, and they maliciously told someone, being like, hey, you know, like Isabel said this, versus someone that accidentally slipped, then the first scenario is like, you know, I thought you were trustworthy, or maybe you appeared to be trustworthy, but you lied to me, right? Whereas the second scenario is like, I should have known better. You had loose lips. Why did I tell you? So that becomes either, but here's the thing. So it's sort of like, I wouldn't forgive her because I know next time not to do it, right?
But it's not her fault.
So forgiving is different. Like you can forgive someone, but at the same time, not do it again because, you know, you're not stupid, right?
Yeah. It's like saying, I know like if I have a kid, right? And I'm like, okay, my son drove the car, he hit something, he scratched it, whatever.
Yeah.
I will forgive him because I know it's an accident, but
Right.
I'm not gonna trust him with my car again, right? But I'm not gonna hold like
Yeah, you don't hold a grudge against them. You don't like bring it up every time you see him. Oh, remember about that scratch in the car? Oh, you know.
Okay, so I think what I'm thinking is more like repeated offense, right? Where they didn't learn from the first time, and they're still technically it's not their intention to do it, but it's still happening because you forgave them, and therefore they're still in your life to do it. And definitely small scenario versus large scenario. But if it's going to be a repeated offense because they didn't care enough or they're careless in their personality to keep up whatever it is, then at that point, do I blame myself or do I blame the person? Because technically, it's my fault for believing them that they would change. But it's also kind of their fault for doing it in the first place. So you're at an impasse at that point where you're like, is it my fault or is it your fault now?
Okay, so another thing that Isabel needs is you gotta be perfect.
Got it.
5 minutes late all the time. You can't have more than one nose. You can't have loose lips in any regard, apparently, or whatever. I don't know what else Isabel considers as slight annoyances that build up into pure hatred rage. But you gotta be perfect. Like,
I played a noise at that.
We're not
enjoy.
psychologists, Bill. We cannot be bringing up these past traumas, but it sounds like Isabel's about some past traumas.
Here's another question. What if, say...
Wait, hold on. I need to play this sound in response to all of this.
You can't touch this.
It's okay. It's for the viewers. What if, say, for example, you are with your boyfriend, for example.
Yeah.
And he... say he was kind of like doing something, like working out or something, and he accidentally hits you in the face. Or he was just angry at you and he punched you in the face. Which one are you
we're
more
talking
likely to
about
forgive?
same scenario. So like same wound would be like both of them are punches to the face, or both of them were both hits to the face. So which one is it, Bill?
The same amount of punch.
Both of them were hits to the face. He was doing some shadow boxing or something. You kind of didn't see. You walked past him and he punched you in the face. The other one is you had an argument. He got angry and then he punched you in the face intentionally. Which one are you more likely to forgive?
I want to change up a little bit and say more realistically, he was playing a lightsaber fight. He accidentally punched her in the face.
Got it. Depends. Was he being stupid about it?
Well, obviously he was
on the unintentional version.
And punched you in the face. What kind of Jedi Master does that? They are aware of this run is completely.
Okay.
But he didn't intentionally do it. He didn't walk right up to you and go boom.
What if he was a Padawan?
Then you're an idiot. I wouldn't date you.
So we can't say that.
Okay, realistically speaking, depends on how much I like the guy. If he's
conditional.
Oh my gosh.
Isabel has conditional grudges. Just FYI, if she likes you a lot for your body and Jedi skills,
okay, no, but here's the thing. It's sort of like the first instance. It's sort of like if you do it again and I get hit again, this is a repeat offense. That is an issue. Versus really the first scenario. No, but here's the thing. So like the first scenario where he purposely did that, right? Then it's sort of like, oh, you're abusive. I can leave. And like, he's out of my life, right? Whereas the second instance, if that happens again, that's on me because I chose to stay there for his idiocy.
He's not being an idiot. What if he's just clumsy?
Right, so we're
gonna put you to finishing school.
Right? We were talking about you learning your lessons. We were talking about you holding a grudge about it.
No, but like holding a grudge is sort of like me remembering, hey, if this happens.
It's nothing to do with how many times he does it. He does it once.
Well, then that's fine. But both of them are technically once, right?
But which one are you more likely to forgive?
But as in, like, I'm holding a grudge because the next time that happens, we're going to have an issue.
So you're holding a grudge. Got it.
Yeah. But it's like a light
should
grudge.
maybe
It's
try
not
and
like
work
it's
on not
not
holding so
detrimental. It's more of like I remember what you did and I'm not happy about what you did.
Are you gonna be constantly angry about it? Like,
No.
you're just gonna like wake up one night and go, I remember you punched me in the face.
No.
by accident
Okay,
once
so
when you did
so
your
here's the
job."
thing. Like
You
when I'm
grab his
saying like
lightsaber.
hold a grudge, it doesn't mean like I'm constantly angry about it. It's more of like I have filed that and I have made note of that now. The next time this happens, this is unacceptable.
That's so scary.
You're allowed to remember things and not hold a grudge. You are aware of this, right?
Yeah, but I now have issues with lightsabers and they're banned from the house because I know what happened. So
I think
learn
that's
from
fine.
your
I
shit.
think that's fair. But you not being able to forgive the person who hit you accidentally over
So,
the person who
I think-
punched you.
So how I view
Intentionally.
okay, listen. How I view it is forgiveness versus holding a grudge is technically to me different things, right? Holding a grudge, I mean in the sense where like I remember the specific instance and I'm not happy about it. So if this happens again, this is gonna be like not necessarily ammunition, but more so of like I'm seeing a pattern of a behavior that I don't think is acceptable, right? So I can forgive him. Like, so what I meant earlier was like I'm more likely to forgive the person that is out of my life because they're no longer part of my life, so I shouldn't hang on to that fact. Versus the second thing is like they're still in my life and maybe improving. And if they improve, great. Like if they don't, then we're going to have a talk about it. But it's like a pattern
Okay.
of behavior that I'm remembering. And it's sort of like,
Okay.
okay, you
Then
didn't
let's-
improve from the last time. You didn't learn from the first time. This is the problem now.
Jedi
To-
Master
to
have
make-
to keep practicing to learn, just as a.
To make things equal, let's make it someone who's not always in your life. Let's make it a stranger who just punches you for the heck of it, like, or a stranger who just hits you accidentally. Who are you more likely to forgive? Obviously, the person who hit you accidentally, right?
I mean, if they're both out of my life, then doesn't matter.
Yeah, because
So,
one was
because no, the question was, who are you more likely to forgive, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So in the first scenario where it's like malicious, it's like I'm kicking that person in my life versus accidental, I'm putting in the frame of, hey, you're still going to be continuously in my life until something further happens, right?
Yeah, I think
Not
it's a different
necessarily
question.
like, right. So in the case of a stranger who is also going to be out of my life, then that kind of cancels out, in my opinion, because they're both going to be out of my life. Does that make
The
sense?
cancels out, which
Well, which
means you
one
would
are you
Because
more
it,
likely to
I'm looking
forgive?
at duration, right? I'm looking at the duration in which
Hey.
I'm spending the time with the person.
because
So
I personally think the
overall-
intent is more important.
overall, I'm looking at, hey, if they're going to continue to stay in my life, then that's a longer time period of which I have to make an assessment. Versus the second scenario that you posed is now that they're both equally like a shorter period of my life, then it's like technically equal.
So it sounds like you're more interested in how much accumulated damage you can get versus what the intent of the other party is. Am I hearing this correctly?
Accumulative damage in relations to their intent.
What? But the one has zero intent to hit you. They just hit you accidentally, and the other one has 100%.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, hey, if he didn't learn from that, then it's going to be a continuous thing.
Punch.
Then that's fine. It's
stranger.
more of like, I just remember it.
Well, I give up. I don't understand her.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's understandable. Right?
think-
Listen, if you want to date Isabel
Yeah,
Punch
don't
her.
date me.
properly, but don't punch her because you're not allowed to hit people. But, you know,
Why are you
if you're going to be
trying to
mean,
hurt
do it on
me?
purpose. And don't be in her life anymore. Does that sum it up?
I think we should have a separate podcast just to talk about
That's too
Isabel's problems.
complicated.
Isabel's
That's too
problem.
complicated. Go set
Isabel's
up
complex
divinity,
life.
man.
No, we got way off the topic of this.
We did.
Um,
We did.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna load up Divinity.
Here, I'm just gonna play this alert.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
In which I also do this.
Oh man, Isabel.
I think you overcomplicated it.
I think you overcomplicated
No,
it.
no.
Bill was asking a very simple question
No,
in two
no,
different
no,
ways.
no. It was not. It was not at all.
This is look. You know it's bad when I'm on Bill's side, all right?
Yes.
Yeah, I facepalm that.
You know, Emanar will only take my side when he's backed into a corner and he has no other choice.
No, I won't take it even then.
Oh dear.
So this must
I
be
will
really,
fight for
really
myself.
bad.
Get back, Bill! Get back! I'm on your side, Emanar!
Oh, anyways, let's load up. Probably set up for thing, and then, you know, for those.
Probably a 5-minute break or something like that. But
For sure,
do
guys. Take a
can,
break, hydrate, you know, do some posture checks, and go from there, guys.
What are we calling the session today? What were we doing last time?
All right, everyone. We're gonna BRB.
BRB.